Part 2. Silver Snow. Garland Moon. The Chaos of War. The Resistance Army successfully takes Fort Merceus. Their victory celebrations are cut short, however, when javelins of light pierce the sky and destroy much of the fort. With nowhere else to go, the Resistance Army withdraws to Garreg-Mach. Under the guise of surrender, they secretly prepare for a surprise attack on the Imperial Capital.
It seems the preparations for our invasion of Enbar are advancing smoothly. All has been laid out so we can move swiftly to the necessary locations. Until the time comes, please try to keep your spirits up. There is something else. I have heard that Rhea is potentially being held captive in the capital. The information could not be confirmed, nor even properly sourced, but even still, we cannot ignore the possibility. Please bear that in mind. Yes, we must not let anything get in the way of rescuing her.
We're finally heading to Enbar, the capital city of the Empire. So many memories there.
Oh yeah? So you've been there before?
Oh, yes. Though it was a very long time ago.
A very long time? You must have been really young. I'm surprised you remember.
The main stage of the Mittelfrank Opera Company is in the capital. I hope no one from the opera gets swept up in the coming chaos.
There are many buildings straight out of the history books in Enbar. I hope they remain unharmed.
You're worried about the buildings? What about the people? You're an odd one, Lynn.
I am also worried about the people. I'm sure my father is in a palace in the capital.
Many people reside in Enbar, so we must take care to avoid needless casualties.
I don't think Edelgard cares much for avoiding casualties, so that's probably impossible. I bet we'll be fighting until one side or the other is completely destroyed.
Bernie, you should be staying away from thoughts like that. We will be defeating her with our full power. Our enemy has great strength, but we will not be losing.
I could not agree more. Remember, even if our surprise attack works, a force even greater than all of our troops combined awaits us in the capital. 0 casualties is always the goal, but we must not underestimate the situation at hand.
Still, we must not hold ourselves to the same twisted morality that she does. After all, we are here to stop her, not to follow her down her dark path. We all choose to fight back. We are all in this together.
You're right, Flayn. We've got to try our hardest.
A different path from Edelgard.
There is no stopping her. The only way to end this is to kill her.
Our choice. Flayn, your words are wonderful and full of bravery.
Let's go! We can't lose!
The situation is dire, and so I will do what must be done.
I am certain that if we join our strength, we can win this battle without losing a single soul.
Oh. 10 years ago, Dagda and Bridget attacked the Empire from the west. Their final target was the capital. But they were countered at a port town long before they reached their destination. I guess our attempt has been more successful than theirs, all things considered.
Yes. 5 years ago, Edelgard said a thing to me. Bridget is a vassal of the Empire. But she also said I always have the freedom to be choosing whether I am with or not with her. I will become the ruler of Bridget. So she said I must make my own path. So now, my path and her path will be colliding.
Fighting in the capital? Ugh, and we're fighting against Edelgard. Double ugh. But with you leading us, Professor, I know we'll win.
Yeah! Woohoo! Fighting!
I'm a little scared, to be honest. I'm just shouting to relieve the tension, but I'll be fine.
So, Enbar.
The capital of the Empire. It's finally time. I never thought I'd live this long. It's like any battle, really. Stay calm, stay focused. Don't give in to the enemy or your own fear. Hey, I'm always serious. When I'm chasing girls or preparing for battle. Always serious. That's me. Striking down the Empire is my offering to His Highness. I left the kingdom. What am I saying?
The Death Knight is no ordinary knight. I will prey upon him. I will quench my blade's thirst with his blood. His focus is on fighting you, I'm sure. But mine will be the last face he sees.
Looks like we're nearing the end of this struggle. I'm sure Lady Rhea is on tenterhooks waiting for me to swoop in and rescue her. Oof, you don't mince your words. Try being a bit more mindful of other people's feelings. Lady Rhea's not waiting for me, I know, no matter how much I might wish she were. She's waiting for you.
No. Professor! My mother might be in the city. I don't have many good memories of her, if I'm being honest, but she's dearer to me than my father. If you happen to see her, please make sure she's not caught up in all the fighting. She's only a civil servant, so hopefully she takes a cue from her Bernie and stays inside.
In the opera, actors came and went all the time, but the people behind the scenes would stay forever. I'll bet I'd know a few of them now, even after all these years. I wonder if they've left the capital. I certainly hope so.
Professor?
We're heading up to Enbar next. I hope I make it back safe so I can tell my little sis about it.
I hear they got a neat opera house there, where Manuela used to perform. What was it called again?
Haha, that's the one. My little sis always goes on about how much she'd like to see him perform. I know we can't see a show, but do you think we could at least see the building?
Huh?
Just recently, the fish in the pond suddenly started thrashing around like mad. I didn't know what was going on. And then I saw something gleaming in the southeastern sky. It happened right when you were out on campaign. I wonder what it could have been.
Professor, the whole of the capital is going to be a battleground. The city has such a long heritage. Even so, perhaps it deserves to be reduced to ashes for once. But we can't let the common folk get hurt. We should try to confine the damage to the noble section of town.
Hey! Hello. There's unrest everywhere these days. I hope things go back to normal. Hey, how about a favor? Appreciate it.
Pardon me.
Greetings, Professor. Nothing to report. Momentum's really picking up for this final battle, huh? Even I'm starting to feel tense. Me! Enbar's history goes back 1,400 years. That even predates the founding of the Empire. It's one of the sacred sites of the Seros faith, so it's a pretty big deal. But hey, no need to worry about the monastery while you're fighting the final battle. I've got it covered. I'll defend it to my last.
Hey! According to a merchant who just came from the Alliance, my little bro made it home in one piece. But House Albrecht lost a lot of troops. So did the nearby lords. Things are real bad over there. If we don't stop the Empire soon, there won't be anyone left to help fight them off.
Here we are, facing the final battle with the Empire. It's been a long, difficult struggle. We have to get Lady Rhea back. And we have to crush the Empire in the name of Captain Gerald. I don't know what comes next, but we can sort out those details later.
Hey, you.
Ever since the Empire declared war on the Church, we have lost all contact with the priests and monks who are in the Imperial Capital. I expect there's nothing we can do but pray for their safety. But realistically, it's probably too late.
It's been so long since I've been to the Imperial Capital. I used to go to the opera there with my mother and brother. I never thought my return would be like this. Professor, so if we win the war, will you become the ruler of Fodlan? You seem unsure, so I guess anything is possible. For what it's worth, I think you'd make a good ruler. You could bring peace to the land.
Once this battle is over, what will become of Fargus and Fodlan? My hope is for a world at peace. A world in which this present turmoil is a thing of the past, the stuff of legends. I believe those who survived the atrocities of war have a duty to create a new, better world. So the sooner we can stamp out such turmoil, the better. We must win, Professor. There is no alternative here. I won't allow for anything else.
That's so. Some of my soldier friends departed for Empire territory a few days ago. They wore trader clothes and hid their weapons in their luggage, so that even if they encounter patrols, they won't arouse suspicion. Another squad dressed as traveling artists. It's like a game of dress-up, but with lives at stake.
It's such a relief that we've made it this far without having to fight my father. Hey, don't try and scare me. If he turns up as a reinforcement during the assault, we might lose. I'd better make my peace with that.
The Empire's army should be divided now, with significant troops still in the west. If they don't assert their authority over the Old Kingdom's lords, they'll never know when an uprising might start. Ironically, as soon as we capture the Imperial Capital, the Old Kingdom's lords are likely to rise up immediately.
We're forming small units and slowly sneaking into the Empire's territory. That allows us to conceal ourselves along the path of the main army's progress, so that by the time we reach the capital, we can all join forces again. However, if any of the units are discovered before we can rendezvous, the whole plan is a bust. I'm sure it will work out, though. The Empire seems to think we've abandoned our plans to invade, so they're likely not keeping as close a watch. Professor, we're about to put the finishing touches on this war. I wonder how Fodlan will look without the backdrop of death and destruction. I can't wait to see it. On the other hand, I'm terrified of what the future might hold. Who knows if I'll survive the assault on the capital?
Invading the capital and smashing the Empire. I wonder if doing so could really end this war. Care to share your thoughts, Professor? You say that with such confidence. I want to believe that it's true. Although for now, better to focus my efforts on the fight at hand.
Enbar, Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine I'd be returning like this. Of course, most of the nobles in the Empire make their home in the capital. In the kingdom, all nobles live in their own domains. So if the capital is attacked, it doesn't necessarily affect them directly. What will happen to the Imperial nobles when their capital becomes a battlefield?
Hello there! Professor!
Those things appeared as soon as we got ourselves set up in Fort Merceus.
Professor!
Well... I was born in Enbar. My mother and father met in a church there. Not too long after, I was brought into the world. I do not understand how war can happen in such a precious place. It is most regrettable.
Right.
So, did you know? A magnificent canal flows through downtown Enbar. It's said to have been constructed under the guidance of Saint Seros before the Empire was even formed. Ever since, that canal has been a major lifeline for the capital's development. And now this is how the Empire repays it. Truly, no good deed goes unpunished.
Professor! Maybe.
I have been to the kingdom capital before, but never to the imperial one. They say it is the biggest city in all Fodlan, so we will no doubt have many civilians to worry about. I hope we can preserve the city. If it is destroyed in the battle, the people will face hardship. I would say we should avoid the use of excessive force, but I suppose that hinges upon the Empire's terms of engagement.
Pardon me.
I'm from the Empire myself, and I still have some relatives in Enbar. I hope they get out in time, but I've no way of contacting them. I guess all I can do is pray they're not harmed.
They used to call Enbar the city of Seros. To assault it together with the knights is surreal. If Seros were alive today, I wonder what she might make of our war. In Enbar, there was once a southern church, and apparently a bishop was dispatched to it. 100 years ago, the southern church became entangled in an insurrection. Until 5 years ago, the Empire and the church maintained a certain distance from one another.
Rhea will be somewhere in the city. I wonder if she can sense us coming. If we are able to save her, then I expect you will learn many secrets that have hitherto been kept from you. Are you prepared for that? Excellent. The battle will soon be upon us. Let us both be at our best for what is to come.
We're finally going to the capital. This will be my chance to avenge Captain Gerald. Once we smash the Empire, I'm sure his soul will finally be able to rest in peace. Monica killed Captain Gerald for the Flame Emperor, and the Flame Emperor was Edelgard. I know that the future of all Fodlan rests on this battle. Nothing else is more important. But for me, this is personal. For Captain Gerald's sake, I'm going to give it all I've got and more.
Well, Enbar's streets are paved with unhappy memories, Professor. I've avoided the damned place ever since I abandoned my nobility, swore never to return. Now here we are. To return in this manner. Well, I can't say it is something I ever imagined.
Whenever I think about how we'll be seeing Lady Rhea real soon, I get happy and really get cleaning. We'll get there for sure, right? We'll see her again? I just gotta believe Lady Rhea is waiting for us in the capital. We just have to find her.
Really?
Professor, at last, the end is nigh. I love the Empire. Part of me wants it to survive, but I know that is not reasonable. The Empire's time has come. What we need now is a mighty leader who can rebuild Fodlan and rule it as a single nation. Nonetheless, it saddens me that we will not have an Adrestian Emperor.
The information about Lady Rhea being held in the Imperial Capital came from an Imperial soldier at Merceus? We can't discount the possibility that the enemy's feeding us fake information on purpose. Still, we can only move forward. It's all on you, Professor.
Hi there! Enbar is where the divine Saros, sent by the goddess, first appeared before mankind. Saint Saros then worked countless miracles there and offered guidance to the people. That's why Enbar is considered a holy place for the Church of Saros.
What? Hey you, listen up. I've got something to report. Remember that battle 6 years ago? Oh, I'm guessing you do. Anyway, remember that knight who watched over Abyss with me for a while? I've been on the hunt for his whereabouts, and I finally found out what happened to him. My friend is no longer with us. Dead. Figured as much, but now I know for sure. I did get to meet his big sister at least. I'll never have the chance to thank him for our time together. But maybe I can find a way to help out his sister instead. Bet he would have liked that.
Those lights that came down on Merceus. I might have seen them before. Here at Garrick Mach. They looked like they'd rained down right on top of us, but at the last moment they veered off. I think they crashed into ALL. Must have been the goddess's blessing that protected us.
What?
Huh? I hear there was a pretty spectacular battle up there recently, but we don't hear a lot about that stuff. There was a lot of talk when it first started, but 5 years on, it's just a fact of life. What? There have been lots of battles on the surface recently? I hadn't heard. See what I mean?
Maybe. Feels like a death wish. Attacking the Imperial Capital like this. You don't really think we're going to beat the Empire with these paltry forces, do you? Is that so? Oh, how I love your resolve.
The Kingdom and the Alliance both came out of the last fight looking battered and broken. If the Empire is wiped out too, then who's left to run the joint? I guess the next leader of Fodlan could be you. I'd be pretty psyched about that.
Is it true what they say? That the Archbishop is a captive of the Empire? I've never heard of anything so brash in all the Empire's long history. It is vexing that Lady Edelgard's true motives elude me. If only I still had noble connections to draw on. The loss of my house has proven to be a thorn in my side again and again.
No. Please, you can't tell anyone you saw me here. I'm in hiding from the army. I couldn't stand the war, the violence. I had to get away. But now that I've deserted, I can't go home. Justice, ambition, what does any of that matter if you're dead? I just want to live. Is that so wrong?